As any fiddler will tell you, playing traditional music versus playing classical music involves a completely different set of techniques. Viola is no different. From the first day of classical violin training, a student is taught to hold the bow like this. Thumb curved, two middle fingers wrapped around the frog of the bow, pinky curved, pointer finger resting on the middle pad. Although the viola bow hold is similar, the hand needs to be coming from a lower angle as if you're hanging off of the bow. This is not as noticeable on the higher strings. However, you'll notice that on the lowest string, the violinist's bow arm is not hanging off the bow like the violist's arm. Another difference is the bow placement and the bow speed when pulled across the string. As a violinist, you can use your entire bow and get an even sound. As a violist, the top few inches of the bow are often avoided, especially for beginners, because it is more difficult to not get a wispy sound at the top of the bow. If a violist wants to play louder, he or she should use more pressure on the bow and less speed. A fiddler can do this, but often does the opposite, less pressure, faster bow speed, as it creates a crunch on the violin. In theory, the fiddler will need to change bow direction before the violist does. Look at the wrist when the fiddler plays this American breakdown, Old Joe Clark. Notice how the fiddler played the tune with mostly all wrist. Now watch the violist play the same tune a fifth lower with no adjustments from classical technique. With a few changes to technique, the violist can play this tune a bit more stylistically. The violist has moved to a higher point in the bow and uses more wrist and less arm to move the bow across the strings. As compensation, the arm is lowered to hang off the bow even more. This allows a more clear and precise sound to come through. Because the viola is bigger, the open strings do resonate a bit more than the violin when played in tune. Combined with the newly developed wrist technique, old-time music sits perfectly on the viola. The sound comes across as a natural reverb. Listen to the difference between Sail Away Ladies on the fiddle and the viola. This style of music, old-time music, is much more fitting for the viola than the previously demonstrated bluegrass tune, Old Joe Clark. Because the viola naturally requires a slower vibrato speed than the fiddle, and because of its darker tone, little needs to change from a classical technique when playing an air or marching air from Scotland. Here is a violist playing Un's Bridal March from Shetland with no alterations to playing technique. The viola is also great for crunchy and sticky sounds, much like the bowed triplet used in Scottish music. Although a violinist will get away with a quick spasm of the wrist, a violist must apply a lot of pressure to the bow using the pointer finger to get the bow to stick quickly to the string. Listen to the two instruments playing a short excerpt from Maggie's Pancakes. There is a slight difference in the outcome, but both would be acceptable for the genre of Scottish music. Now, moving into another subgenre of Celtic music, Irish music. In Irish music, we are introducing the Irish roll. Similar to the classical turn, the Irish roll contains the same notes, a main pitch, one note above, and one note below. Unlike the classical turn, the Irish roll is only audible on the first and last pitches. Listen to it on the fiddle. Unfortunately, this is where the viola's imperfections begin to take a toll on the performance itself. Because of the size and the amount of string that is vibrating, the Irish roll requires the instrument to speak faster. The upper strings on the viola are not the best at creating the sound needed for the Irish roll, but it is doable. On the lower strings of the viola, recreating the roll is almost impossible as the instrument doesn't have the time to speak. So the answer to the question is yes, you can play traditional music on the viola. However, some things are much better suited for the instrument. Tunes with drones in the American style, slower tunes in the Celtic genre, and tunes that allow the viola's slower reaction time to speak are the best types of tunes for the viola. This is not to say that the viola cannot be played fast and up-tempo, it just may not sound as authentic as it will on a violin or cello. If it is possible, why has it not been done before? Or rather, why is it so rare to see a violist playing a genre other than classical? From a young age, students are shown the versatility of the violin and cello and bass. From genre to genre, from music books to CDs, we are taught that these instruments can do anything. From that same young and impressionable age, we are shown that the viola is an orchestral, classical instrument. It is time for that education to change. It is time for the viola to take a permanent seat in world music. Next time you're at the symphony, take your hats off to the underdog, the middle child, the imperfect instrument, the viola.